So I definitely didn't know what I was committing to whenever I decided to do this video, but here we go. Hey everyone, it's Lillian. I'm coming back to you with another video. It's slightly different than my previous videos, which are focused more on hair, beauty, and all that stuff, makeup. So I just wanted to do this video, kind of like Taylor versus Taylor, just because of mainly the nostalgia, because when her Fearless album came out in 2008, I was actually 17 and I was going into my first year of university, and I don't know if I bought the album or if somebody gave it to me as a gift, but I have the hard copy. Like, look at that. It's crazy. Who buys these anymore? But yeah, and honestly, during that time of life, I guess that was like one of my favorite albums to listen to on repeat. So as any Taylor Swift fan knows or is aware of, how she kind of got screwed over by, I think his name is Scott. I can't remember his Scott. It's an Italian last name, but I'll put it on the screen, and like Big Machine Records, and they basically owned her masters. And so long story short, she just redid everything under her own name, her own label type thing. And so I'm just going to do like a compare and contrast of what I like from the new album, or if I don't like something, right? So we'll start off with the first song. So it's the title track, Fearless. So in what I'm going to call the OG track, the original, it was, I took a bunch of notes, so I'll be looking down. It's nice, very sweet, very fresh. You could tell, like, you know, she's a young singer at the time. I think she's 2 years older than I am. And her vocals at the time, which I didn't care too much then, but now that I'm older, it's like, meh. They were shaky, but obviously the lyrics made up for the shaky vocals, and it's not like she was ever out of key. It was just, I guess, like a vibrato type of thing that she developed over the years. And then when I listened to Taylor's version of that song, immediately you can hear the maturity in her voice. And I remember the first thing I said when I heard the new version, I'm like shaking to swear, because it was just beautiful. I'm like, yes, Taylor, like your voice has definitely matured over the 10 plus years since this album came out. And I also wrote, I forgot I actually wrote this, I made a note on the instrumentation for this song. I said that for the most part, it sounds the same, like all the songs sound the same, but I felt that the new version, Taylor's version, was a bit fuller. So yeah, but other than that, it was great. Next song was 15. Yeah, I thought that it was good. It was nothing crazy different. I said that the instruments seemed to be a bit more muted, like maybe not as in your face, or maybe not as heavily produced in the new version, but it's fine. Like, it didn't take away from the song at all. And sorry, just to mention, for some songs I'll probably have more words to say than others, but yeah, moving on. So Love Story, any person who's either Taylor Swift fan, even not a Taylor Swift fan, must have heard this song at one point in time, during like 2008, 2009, and even maybe 2010. In the new version, the vocals were noticeably stronger and there was way better breath control. There's a part in the song, let me see if I could find it, and I will let you know in 1 second. Okay, correction. So it's not this song. I think it's another song where I may have written it down whenever I come to it, where she took like this massive breath, but she made up for it in Taylor's version. So the next song was Hey Steven. In Taylor's version, I found that the production just sounds cleaner. There was a less cluttered sound, and obviously the vocals were stronger. In the OG version, the song sounded like it was at the top of her range, and I do remember writing down maybe for a couple songs where I'm like, certain songs, like it just sounds like it's at the top of her range at that time. But obviously over the years her vocals have developed, and yeah, like it just sounds beautiful now. All right, the next song is White Horse. So in Taylor's version, I wrote down that it's just cleaner and crisper than the original one. Yeah, that's all I wrote down for that. And then You Belong With Me. Love that song. I've listened to that many times over the years. So in Taylor's version, I wrote down there's a stronger lower harmony in the chorus, and I guess it was whoever the background vocal was, it was more noticeable, whereas in the original version that same harmony was a bit more subtle. And then the bridge of the song, oh, this is what I was looking for. So in the bridge of the song in the new version, in Taylor's version, she didn't have like this massive gasp. I think I wrote down the lyric. I wrote, "Know you're about to cry." Hold on, let me just find this. All right, so I found the part where I was looking for, because sometimes you can just write a certain part of a song, you're like, where the heck is that in the song? So it's the part where it goes, "Oh, I remember you driving to my house in the middle of the night. I'm the one who makes you laugh when you know you're about to cry." And then in the original version of that song, after the "know you're about to cry," she takes this massive gasp, like, and then moves on, like, "I know your favorite songs and you tell me about your dreams, yada, yada, yada," right? So I was like, okay, I'm totally listening out for this in the new version. And I'm like, good job, Taylor. Her breath control is like a million times better now than then. And that's to be expected, especially if you're somebody of like her status and caliber when it comes to performances. Like, it's something that you have to train, because your vocal cords, they're a muscle. It's like your body. If you want your body to be fit, you need to work it out. If you want your vocal cords to be strong, you need to work it out, right? And then the next song, oh, sorry, no, I wrote something else for You Belong With Me. Oh, yeah, so I basically just wrote down, she does have very little gasps throughout, but they're very subtle, and that was in regards to the newer version. Like, yeah, she like goes for air, but like it's nothing like major, because everybody obviously has to breathe through a song, but her breathing is more timed, if you will. Speaking of breathing, the next song is called Breathe. That was featuring Colby Calais, and I wrote down in the new version that it sounds more comfortable vocally, unlike the original version where she can sing a note, but it's not as full sounding. It's more kind of like airy fairy, which is fine, especially since she was young at the time. But now that she's in her 30s, and again has developed her voice, though it's a soft, mellow song, her voice, her sound, it's more full. The next song is Tell Me Why. So I really like this song a lot. So in most, if not all of these songs, I'm just gonna say she's noticeably stronger in the new version. Because in the OG one, she is shaky all over the place. And I think, again, at the time, it was okay because it played on like the youthfulness of her voice, and she was just young and new, and and she was never like out of key, like I had mentioned before. It was just shaky. Her sound was just shaky, and it was more on like the faster songs. I find she was a lot more shaky. But in the new song, it's just like full on redemption. It's like shakiness where, and she was just strong right off the bat. And then for You're Not Sorry, I didn't have any major critique. I just said she's noticeably stronger, and I said that I wrote down ballads seem to be where she, at the time, where she was vocally more comfortable. And obviously now, like 10 plus years later, she is strong in both aspects when it comes to the faster songs and the ballads. The next song is The Way I Loved You. So in the OG version, I wrote down the vibrato, if you will, like if you want to call it that. It was a bit annoying in regards to like the vowel sounds in the song in the original version. So like anything that had an ah sound or an e sound, and even like an ah type of sound, very shaky. But she got that under control, got all of it under control in the new version. All right, next song. All right, so next song was Forever and Always. So I wrote down, sorry, sometimes I write like a doctor. It's like when I'm in a rush, it's just a mess. So I wrote down in the original version the part where it says rains when you're, oh, like rains when you're gone. Okay, yeah, so more so closer to the end, when it's like the climax where everything's like really, really built up. It's like the vocals are weaker there, and it's just shaky. And in the new version, her falsetto in like the first part of the song, it's like a lot stronger and a lot cleaner. It's not as like it's the last bit of air coming out of her mouth. Like it's intentional. And then the climax again, where it says, you know, the rain's when you're gone, like she goes for it, and it's clear. It's not shaky. It's strong, and I love it. The next song was The Best Day. I actually really like this song. It's such a nice like Mother's Day song. Yeah, this one I didn't really have too much critique. I just wrote that it's clearer, cleaner, and enunciation is a lot better. And then the next song was Change. Yeah, I've always liked this song. It in the original version, yeah, it's shaky at parts. The part that I would say was the most shaky in that song was the Hallelujah part. Like you know, the sing Hallelujah. Yeah, it would just be like very shaky. But she got that under control for the new version, and it's just honestly that was just like beautiful. And the songs that I just mentioned, they were just on the original version. Now the songs I'm gonna talk about are part of the deluxe edition of the Fearless album. So the first song that they put there was Jump Then Fall. So I wrote down in the original version, she kind of sounds like a child, like just very, very youthful. And though she was like 19, 20 at the time, I felt like she sounded younger than she was. But again, that was just her voice at the time. And then in the new version, you can tell the maturity of her voice, and I felt like how she sounded in this particular song. It reminded me of the I Knew You Were Trouble song from, I think it's the Red album. Just the vocals, that's what it reminded me of. Just like very kind of like matter of fact, and I really liked it like that. The second song was Untouchable. I didn't have any complaints. I just noticed there was like maturity in her voice. And then Forever and Always, the piano version. So I actually really liked both versions of the original, from the deluxe version and from this new version. I just wrote breath control is a lot better, and just there's a lot of maturity in her voice. All right, the next song was Come In With the Rain. Yeah, so I just wrote, it's a lot stronger in the new version, and that's all I wrote. And then for the song Superstar, I wrote same. I put an arrow, so stronger in the new version. And then the other side of the door, I wrote down sounds really young, even though she was 19 20, or 20 years old, but I put in capital letters. The new version sounds so much better and felt like I put like felt like a Lady A type of song. If any of you listen to Lady A, formerly known as Lady Antebellum, yeah, this particular song, I don't know if it was the harmonies or just the style of the song. I felt that it just reminded me of that group, that band. Then the next song was Today Was a Fairytale, and I'm like, the title of the song, I'm like, this sounds so familiar. I'm like, I know I've heard the song before, but this is not from the deluxe album. So I had to Google, I'm like, what album is this from? Because I'm like, I couldn't find it in like the Sparks Fly or the Red album, whatever. Then I realized it was a single that was made for the Valentine's Day movie soundtrack, and I'm like, that's where I've heard it from. So I wrote down, and that movie was from 2010, came out January 2010. So I wrote down her voice in the new version is fuller and doesn't sound like it's at the top of her range like in the original version. And yeah, so that was it for the regular album, the deluxe part that she did, and now we're gonna move on to the vault. So these are all the songs that she has, I guess she had written before, possibly recorded, but never released until now. So the first one is called, sorry, my writing is a mess. Let me just look at my phone. I feel like I wrote that incorrectly because I'm like, that does not make sense to me. Oh, no, I wrote that correctly. Okay, never mind. So the first song is You All Over Me. I believe this one was featuring, what's this girl's name? She's another country artist. It starts with an M. I think it's Maren or Maren. I'm just waiting for it to show. Featuring, oh yeah, Maren Morris. And that girl's voice is amazing. So yeah, Maren, she just did harmonies for that song. I found the song good. It was enjoyable. And yeah, I really liked it. And then the next song, which is actually my favorite one from all the vault ones that she has put on the album, it's Mr. Perfectly Fine. I wrote down, this is classic Taylor, but older, and an older version of Taylor that has like who has had life experiences. So yeah, I really like the song, and I said the lyrics were strung beautifully, and yeah, it was just very nice, and I really, really liked it, and it's very like single worthy, especially for Taylor. The next song is, this is my second favorite. It's called That's When, and it was featuring Keith Urban, and as many people may know, and if you don't, she toured with Keith Urban, I think for this particular album. It was either this one or the first one, but she toured with him in like the beginning of her career, and yeah, I just thought it was really nice, and Keith Urban was a nice addition, and I love his voice. He has a very nice singing voice. And then the last two songs are Don't You and Bye Bye Baby. And I just wrote down for both of them. They're very nice. I liked them. There wasn't a song that I didn't like from the vault. It was just my two favorites were Mr. Perfectly Fine and That's When. So those are my thoughts on the remake or Taylor's version of her Fearless album and all the additional songs that she had put there for our enjoyment. Let me know which songs that you enjoyed, which are the new songs, the vault songs that she has added for us. Which one is your favorite? And have you ever seen her in concert? Because I actually have never been able to see her in concert. Like back in my like late teens, early 20s, I totally would have gone. But yeah, if you've seen her in concert, let me know if you have and what was your experience like. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and I will see you later. Bye.